How you doing, man?
I'm okay. Hey, last we talked, you gave me an idea.
What's that?
Well, you said you had a book.
Yes.
What was your book about?
Kicking through the ashes. It's about the 1980s comedy explosion.
Well, talk to me about that. What was that? Because I feel like now we're having a bare LinkedIn explosion. So tell me what the 80s comedy explosion was like.
Well, there were no comedy clubs, paying comedy clubs.
Uh-huh.
Where people would go watch comics perform other than New York City and Los Angeles.
Really?
In the 60s and 70s. No. And then all of a sudden in 1980, these clubs started exploding all across the country.
Just
And
blowing
a plague. It will eventually be called the Great Plague of Stand-Up, 1980. That's what it'll be called. Like the Black Death. It's very similar to the Black Death, but it killed humor in America.
And so
people became reliant on stand-ups. They lost their sense of humor. Their sense of humor is atrophied, and stand-up comics came to provide the only way they could laugh.
So stand-up comics kind of killed comedy? Is that what you're saying?
I think they killed humor.
They killed humor, yeah. Because then like before.
Yes. Now people no longer have the ability to make themselves and their friends laugh. They have to go to comedy clubs.
And it's a 2-drink minimum, right?
Yeah, 2-drink minimum, yes.
So
sometimes even a cover charge.
So it went from like something. It went from like nothing to something really big, really fast, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, that's kind of what's happening for me. I mean, I was a nobody bear, and then now everybody.
You were sitting on a shelf at a carnival.
Yeah, and then
were you top shelf? I'm going to guess you were top shelf.
No, I was just in with my friends. And I was normal. But now all of a sudden everybody's watching me on YouTube and everybody's watching me on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to do this movie. But it's how did you handle that? How did you handle going from nobody knowing you to everybody knowing you?
Well, I didn't get as big as you did, but I wanted to make people laugh. I kept my purpose. Just stay to your purpose. My purpose was to make people laugh, so I didn't get caught up in anything else.
See, my thing is to find my porpoise, not my purpose.
I'm
looking for a nice saltwater fish relationship, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think making love to someone with a blowhole must have an advantage in certain ways.
Got all kinds of advantages, right? So what when it was happening, when you were watching all this kind of blow up around you, what did you notice?
You don't notice much when the explosion is happening around you. I was just in the midst of just trying to do what I was doing. In retrospect, what I did then was go to town and perform in these comedy clubs. Right.
And then the book,
have a career.
So the book has a bunch of stories from this time.
Many stories.
So what's one of your favorite stories from the book?
One of my favorite stories from the book?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of story would you like? Would you like a story of drugs and alcohol, sex, stand-up comedy, thievery, fighting on stage? What do you want? What kind of stories do you want?
Whichever was your favorite. My
favorite?
Of that list of things, what was your favorite?
I guess a fun story was Andy Kaufman. Kaufman, who was a big star then, came into the improvisation around 1981, and he had 2 professional wrestlers with him, who I recognized. I was a wrestling fan when I was young. It was Captain Lou Albano and Freddie was with him.
Okay.
So I went up and said hello to those 2 guys, and they must have told him that I did because he realized I knew something about professional wrestling. So he came over to me and said, "I'm going to do this professional wrestling thing on stage." Now the stage is very small. It was like a small stage, a 10 by 15 foot stage or whatever. Maybe not even that. I don't know. I wondered how he was going to do it, but he said, what to do. So you would like to manage, I would like you to manage the other wrestler. It was going to be a woman. He was going to wrestle a woman. That's what he said.
Okay.
So I was the MC that night. I brought him on stage. Place goes crazy. They love him. Andy Kaufman. 200 people packed in the room. And then he gets on stage and he just starts up. He's wearing this little sweats, gray sweats. You know? And he starts prancing about the stage, strutting about the stage, saying, "I love women." And of course, at first the audience is like, "Yes, we all love women." He says, "I love them most when they're cooking for me. cooking in my house. That's what women should be doing.
That's not good. That's not good.
Now he's starting to turn the audience a little bit. They're like, hey, wait a minute. The women are getting a little restless, and the men who are with the women are getting even more restless, thinking that their plans for later are being ruined by this guy.
Pretty uncomfortable at that point.
Very uncomfortable. So he says, no woman is the equal of a man. Now he really has them hate him. Literally in 3 minutes, he turned the crowd totally for him to totally against him.
Wow.
No woman can beat a man in wrestling. I challenge any woman to come up here and wrestle me, and I'll give them. And he put up like 5 $100 bills and put them up, showed the crowd, and then slammed them on top of the piano. Any woman who can beat me can have these $100 bills.
Wow.
The women started raising their hands, and he was dismissed them as not cute enough, not good looking enough. Oh, he was being sexist in the extreme.
That's not good.
And then he picked the woman. He says, anybody here want to help the woman wrestle me, help manage her? And I came up, and of course he started yelling at me for being a traitor. And he shoved me, but it was like stage shoving,
Right. Just playing around.
So the woman takes off her heels and says to me, what do I do? I said, I knew he was going to take a fall. I just knew what he was up to.
Right.
And I said, just grab his leg. And she grabs his leg. He flops on his back.
Right.
I slammed the stage 3 times as a pin. She jumped up. The place goes crazy. It goes crazy. Like it was an Olympic gold medal.
Right.
And he gets up behind us. I didn't see him.
Right.
But he grabs the $500, waves it in the air, kicks open the side door, and leaves.
Oh, he stole the money.
He stole the money. It was total Snidely Whiplash move. Total.
Sliding.
Everybody starts chasing him. I mean, it was like a Three Stooges bit where people got jammed in the door because they all tried to go into at the same time.
They all ran. That's hysterical.
He jumps in a limousine outside. It was parked right outside the door with Freddie Blassie and Lou Albano already in the limo. And he waits. He literally waits for everybody to come out. He got the window rolled down. He's waving the money, and the car just slowly moving down the street as people chase him.
Oh, that's hysterical. And that was back when nobody had cell phones and stuff, so they all were actually watching.
No, everybody was actually participating in the moment.
That's funny.
It took forever to get the crowd back. I mean, he really turned a comedy crowd into a professional wrestling crowd, and they never knew it happened.
So he was more of a performance artist than a comedian.
I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah, because he did all kinds of that fun stuff. I saw, who that guy, what's his name? Jim Carrey. He played him in the movie. This
he did. Man on the Moon.
He did a good job. He played him almost
really good movie. Oh, yeah, he was very good. Amazing. Very good.
So now, when this was all going on, did you meet some of your heroes?
Met a lot of my heroes. Rodney Dangerfield, Johnny Carson, David Letterman.
Which one was the most surprising? Who was the most down to earth?
Rodney was surprising in a lot of ways because he was a crazy, wild man. I mean, he partied like he was 25 years old.
Right.
He was wild. But he also had a sense of honor that was really surprising to me. Surprising. Right. Yes. Yes, he did.
And all these adventures, what was the scariest thing that happened?
The scariest thing. Well, I probably didn't realize it at the time, but I was partying with a couple of guys who had just killed a guy.
What?
And I avoided going with them to back to their house to do some more partying, and they got arrested that morning by the police with a lot of drugs.
That's probably good.
And the murder weapon yes. So that was probably not knowing. I'm surprised more comics didn't get in trouble.
Right.
Running around. We were going into towns we didn't know anybody. We were hanging out with people who we really didn't know. I'm surprised more, or at least if you were as reckless as I was. I was just making people laugh and then doing whatever else I wanted to do. It was pretty reckless.
What advice would you give young people that are just starting out and starting to get some attention?
As a comedian or just attention?
In life, in general. Now
any kind of attention.
Yeah, because now it's you.
Yes, well, I say enjoy the attention. It will move to somebody else. So
Oh,
enjoy it.
that's sad. You mean they don't love you forever?
Well, that's the thing about attention. It's hard to hold attention. Attention's hard to hold.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Ah, crap! I gotta go. I want to talk to you more. I want to hear some more stories.